Welcome to Driving Immersion. This is the immersive racing experience. We drive full-length races in full simulation settings from the driver's cockpit with a Fanatec wheel and load cell pedal set. We are in North America at Road America, a challenging road course driven on by many North American race series. While no F1 races have ever been raced here in its long history, there have been F1 cars lapping here for special one-off events. We are driving as Ruebens Barrichello in his 1993 Jordan 193 Hart, a very pleasant car to drive amongst the F1 cars and Automobilista too. We have a 45-lap race underway on a sunny summer day. Starting from 14th place, we are currently all the way up to 11th place. So making up spaces here just in lap 1. Approaching turn 5 here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We are turning left. A very brief sprint under the bridge, and we are turning left again into turn 6. Following turn 7 here to the right, and we are going to ride over the curb on the entrance and find ourselves on the curb on the exit. This is turn 8. Another traffic bridge here as we have a long right-hander here as turn 9. Turn 10 as we exit, and now we are approaching turn 11. Again, a sweeping right-hander. All the way down to turn 12, a very slow right-hander as we brake very hard. Turn 13 here. And turn 14 is our final turn of the lap, and it's going to open up onto the main straight, and you can see the pit entrance there just to the right of the cars. This is on board with Derek Warwick in one of the Fort Works, following Mars Medina and Ruebens's Jordan Hart. There we are, the number 14. Again, as we approach turn 3.
Major understeer, but I was a little 1 gear too high.
And turn 3 is going to be questionable throughout the race as we are approaching it. The important thing about it is that we exit fast and clean so that we can go down the straight. Here is turn 5 once again. Turn 6 here, out from under the bridge. So the car ahead, Ricardo Patrese. And I believe that is one of the Benettons. Ahead of him, Michael Andretti in one of the McLarens. There he is, number 7. Turn 12 and 13. Again, very important here to get a very good exit down the main straight.
On that last car. We did go a little wide, so we are a little bit slow on the exit.
On board with Ruebens Barrichello, you can see there is a green light that pops up to the right of the gear indicator. That is actually not DRS as indicated there on the HUD to the lower right of your screen. That basically indicates that the active suspension at the time is activated, and basically back then, aside from the Williams team, most other teams here had the car raised or lowered to make use of the airflow beneath the car. And it basically helps or adds to the
That was ahead.
downforce or the drag. A big hit there with one of the Benetton Benetton's. I believe that is Tracy. And we do have the damage turned off here, or at a very limited level. Again, as we have raced here in AMS2 with the AI, they do have a propensity for a little bit of bashing if you should cut them off or act very aggressively towards them. So we do have that turned off, at least for now. And there we are, all the way around Benetton, coming in through turn 11 and eventually 12 here. Again, a very slow right-hander. Does have a white apron to the left, but the curbs are actually very high, and so they will definitely upset the car if you ride on those curbs. And again, the exit for 12 leading on to 13 and 14 is very important for the straight. So you want to get 12 done correctly. And I believe we are coming up to Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari. And from the cockpit here, that looks like Michael Andretti in the McLaren. Moving slowly towards the front, down the back straight once again.
Still too high in the curb.
There we are around the Ferrari, and I believe that is John Alesi, the number 28. And we are waiting to have a good look. No, I believe that's Berger. A good look at the helmet. Yes, it is Gerhard Berger, and now just up ahead at the main straight, that is Michael Andretti. Again, in his very quick career in Formula One. At this time, his teammate Ayrton Senna is in second place at the front. Alain Prost at the very lead of the race. Sixth place now for Mars Medina in the Jordan Hart of Ruebens Barrichello. 5 of 45 laps done. Very hard braking here into turn 5. And here we have a look at one of the Williams. That is Damon Hill. That is Damon Hill very early into the pits. And it doesn't look very fast. This may be the end of the race for him. Unfortunately, there's no way of knowing what happened to his car or exactly what is wrong with it. But we are watching Damon Hill. It looks like the end of the day here at Road America. Back on board, we are watching to see where Michael Andretti is weakest around the track, and right now he's doing very well to stay ahead of Mars Medina.
Absolutely abusing these tires.
Jordan here coming down the main straight. We are the only ones shooting sparks. We didn't spend a lot of time on the setup here for the race. We just arranged the car so that we could place in the top 10 in the practice sessions. A big hit there by Michael Andretti. We did outbrake ourselves in the Jordan, and so he saw fit to come through, and again a little bit of a bump on the exit. So again, we may have a little bit too much wing here on the Jordan, and we'll see how the race progresses. We are doing excellent here in the slow and curvy sections, but on the main straight we may be losing a lot of time to the other cars as they will have less wing and more speed. Here through turn 11, you can see here that he gains a little bit of space. So right now, Mars Medina is showing a little bit of weakness on the straights. We are watching Michael Andretti in Formula One, a very rare and short career. Back on board with Ricardo Patrese, you can see the Jordan just up ahead, a Ferrari, and then the McLaren of Michael Andretti. We are now diving into turn 5. It looks like the Jordan has gotten past 2 cars, a little bit wide on the exit, but able to recover very quickly.
That was touchy. But got it done.
On board again with the McLaren. A very close race right now for 4 cars, very early into the race. The Benetton at the end of this, but not very far from getting around. Now Michael Andretti driving a very difficult race here against number 14 of Mars Medina. Big dive into turn 5. And we close off the inside on the exit as well. And this time we should be able to make it stick around Michael Andretti. Through 9 and 10. This is 11 once again. And the white apron on the exit of 11 on the left is actually very wide, and everybody will be using that throughout the race. Same here in 12. This is Michael Schumacher challenging one of the Ferraris up front.
Yeah, is that a hit or a spin?
That is a hit. And we were definitely nudged by Michael Andretti. Again, very aggressive there. And he did spin us around turn 1.
Ninth place.
So out of that very short spin, we do lose a few spaces here in the race. And now the 3 cars that we were racing closely with are out of sight.
Tires too hot.
So a quick look on the HUD shows the tires are a little bit warm. They are wearing, especially the front left, which is to be expected on this clockwise race course. And all that racing that we've been doing with Michael Andretti had put a lot of stress on the tires. There we are using the apron very wide on the exit of 11. Taking a look at the timing, we are about 7 seconds away from Derek Warwick, one of the cars we were racing with just a few laps ago. Turn 2 there, a very hard right-hander for the front left tire. Again there, you can see on the HUD how much the front left is worn more than the other tires. And I believe we are on board with Eric Comis, and that is Mars Medina just up ahead in the number 14. The green light once again for the active suspension. Right now we are trying to figure out where it is most advantageous to have it on. Now while having the car lower does reduce drag, wouldn't benefit to do that in the bumpy section. And on some of the turns that can actually work, as long as you're going fast enough. But if you have any information on the active suspensions back then, feel free to comment below and let us know. Lap 11 of 45. Lap 10 was a couple of seconds slow. Right now, a lot of understeer and drifting to the left on these very hard right-handers. Again, you can see there that the left front tire is about 6 degrees warmer than the right front, again because of this clockwise course. Now the temperature difference is also apparent in the rear tires, but not to the same degree. Again, a lot of right-handers. hard braking again into turn 12. Right now on board with Mars Medina in the number 14 Jordan Hart. At the end of lap 11, we're about 1.5 seconds slower than our fastest lap. Clear track ahead. The thing we can do right now is to basically drive less aggressively, let these tires cool down just a little bit, especially the ones on the left, and hopefully we can bring back a little bit more endurance and go longer without a pit stop. Now, at this time in Formula One in 1993, there were no refueling during the race, so we are not going to be refueling. We actually have a full tank of fuel to cover the laps in the race. However, you can still come in for tire changes or to fix any damage. You can see there now that the left front is getting very worn. We are at nearly 50%. Wear. Unfortunately, it doesn't show 50%, it just shows in a graphic. However, the green indicator or green color shows that the temperature is fine. If we do get it too hot, it will turn yellow, and I believe if we have a flat or a puncture, it will turn red. Now here in AMS2, we have hit the wall before and have gotten a puncture from hitting the wall and damaging the wheel. So you can get punctures here in AMS2. Back to the pits, we are again looking at Damon Hill. Again, his race is done for the day. Car parked in the pit lane. A lot of tire squealing here still.
Just trying not to overdrive the tires.
This is Alan Prost in first place in the Williams. Again, his teammate in the pits retired for the race. Ayrton Senna in second place in the McLaren. On board with Mars Medina. Here are the standings. We are in 9th place on lap 15 of 45, 1/3 of the race done. Derek Warwick now just 3 seconds up ahead. saw the Jordan there kicking up a little bit of grass and dirt, coming off the track just a little bit momentarily. Swooping out of the exit of turn 10. This is now turn 11 here to the right. Again, a very fast, open right-hander. Turn 12 here, going to bring that down to second gear. Fourth gear, we have to lift. Around turn 13. Turn 14 as we exit out, again to the main straight.
Got a clear track.
There is the active suspension once again. That is not automatic. There's actually a button that has to be activated on the steering wheel by the driver to raise and lower the car. Off-road once again out of 11. And in the last shot we saw the 8th place car of Derek Warwick just a couple of seconds ahead now. There he is once again, the red and white Footworks car. Up and over the main straight. 0.199 seconds slower than our fastest lap, so not a bad lap. Again, just up ahead, Derek Warwick in the Footworks. And it's taken about 6 or 7 laps to make up for that spin. Out of turn 1 caused by Michael Andretti in the McLaren. There is the Footworks going into the pits. And very briefly we got to see there is another car in front of him going in as well. And right now we are looking into our pit strategy while we're driving, and we're going to change that into tires. Right now changing that into, I believe we are selecting the mediums again for longevity. So again, we are actually having to program and set up our pit stop while we're driving.
These tires are fairly worn. I believe everybody else is coming in.
There are the other cars, and there is Alan Prost falling back down to second for that pit stop.
60% or so.
There he is, the number 2. Here we are into pit entry. Very hard on the brakes and on the speed limiter. And I believe in 1993 there was no speed limit. However, we are so used to having a speed limit here in the pits, gives us a little bit of time to rest and check out our strategy. So we do have a pit speed limit programmed into the race. And again, it's 60 miles an hour. There's our pit box. We are getting just tires. And it just so happens there's another team just ahead of us. Can't tell who that is exactly, who may be waiting for another car to come in. And we are going to drive right through. By today's standards, a very slow pit stop just to change tires. Exit with that pit stop. We are back down to 16th place. A minute and 20 seconds behind the lead. Again, that is nearly 3/4 of a lap behind. Quite a long way here with just lap 19 of 45. There's Derek Warwick once again, and we are back to racing with him, this time very close. Ahead of him, Alex Zanardi. And yes, if you didn't follow Formula One back then, Alex Zanardi was actually part of Formula One before he went to IndyCar.
Later now.
So into our first lap after our pit stop. The car is lighter with less fuel, and we have new tires, so it does feel a lot faster, a lot more aggressive. And again, we are on board with Alex Zanardi, and he is coming into the pits. His teammate just ahead of him.
Few cars in the pits.
So after the shakeout of the pit stops, we are back to 8th place in this lap 19 of 45. On the curb on the exit, we are driving these tires a little bit too hard. into the grass out of turn 11. Again, that is one of those sections where you dare lift or you dare not lift. So right now our tires may be a little bit too hot from overdriving, and Derek Warwick is giving us a good race. He's back under our wing under the main straight, and again, we don't have a lot of speed on the straight. Turn 5 and into turn 6. Derek Warwick still behind us. Once again, just barely a lift from the throttle, then very hard braking here into turn 12. There we are, very wide apron to the left, but it ends very abruptly, so you don't want to be on it on the exit for too long. Quick look behind, that is the footworks right behind us. We don't have a lot of speed here on the straight. Kind of one of the weaknesses of this Hart V10.
Too high of a gear. There was a lot of time.
Here is the footworks looking on the outside, a tap to the rear wheel, and that is going to turn us just a little bit so that we survive turn 5. But now we are behind Derek Warwick in the footwork. Lap 22 of this 45 lap race. Footworks a little bit wide on the exit. And Mars Medina is able to get back around. Again, we do have a little bit more wing than the other cars here. Another push from the footworks, and this time it's going to lead to a lot of time lost.
Just got lapped.
So again, a couple of the things that can happen here in racing that we have no control over. We do have our AI aggressiveness down to a medium or a medium setting. However, that was definitely Derek Warwick's fault. And when things like this happen, that's when we start looking toward turning on damage, and the damage at a very low level has very little effect to discourage the AI from bumping into you. However, when you have it on simulation or high, and they do bump into you like that, it's very likely that somebody will incur damage, and it's usually going to end up in a lot of time lost for either car, and very good in discouraging bumping and rubbing. So that may be in the future for us here at Driving Immersion. There we are once again, a couple of wheels off on the exit of turn 11 as we dare not lift. Up and around the back marker. Derek Warwick is in sight. This is Mark Blundell behind us, and he is really not too far away. So here on board with Mars Medina and the Jordan Hart, can't afford to make any mistakes. Down the back straight, once again very hard, braking into turn 5. Very sharp left-hander here. Under the bridge into turn 6. Still a very long race. We are just over the halfway point. Currently in 9th place. Just up ahead, disappearing out of our view. Here he is, Derek Warwick in the footworks. We are racing with him. And right now it's showing about 2 or 3 seconds difference between the two. Back on board, making a quick adjustment on our brake bias. We are putting a little bit too much wear on the front tires, especially here. On this very long right-hander between 9 and 10, we can change our brake bias a little bit to the rear so that the front tires do less work in stopping the car or slowing, eventually leading to less stress and less wear. Back to the wing of Derek Warwick. We're going to be in the inside here of turn 12. Push him out a little bit. He dares tap our wheel just a little bit on the exit. But now we are ahead. Down the main straight, we put a good distance between us and the car behind. is turn 8 as it opens up to a long right-hander between 9 and 10. And we're going to hold the throttle just enough so that we are not understeering. Again, keeping our foot down into turn 11. Not falling off onto the apron to the left. Here we are again, turn 12. Up and over the main straight, crossing the start-finish line once again. Lap 27 now, that is Derek Warwick behind us, and just about 7 seconds ahead, Ricardo Patrese in 7th place. Now that car up ahead can't quite make out who that is just yet. That's not Ricardo Patrese, and we quickly make our way around the back marker. A very good look behind now, and you can see that the footworks has fallen behind.
Is that good?
Yes, this time around we briefly got a look at the tire wear, and right now the front tires are wearing nearly evenly. The front left will always be worn more as we are on this clockwise course. And actually a lot of the right-handers are very fast and sweeping, whereas the left-handers are slow. Second, maybe third gear sometimes. And that is definitely going to put a lot of stress on that left front. Here is turn 5. Again, very slow, all the way down to second gear. Turn 6 up to 3 and back down to second. Turn 7 here to the right, and we are in third or fourth gear. So a lot faster on that turn. Another left-hand turn down to second gear. A very long right-hander between 9 and 10 here, so we are putting a lot of stress on that left front. And right now we have about 30% of the race left, and we are trying to see if we can stretch this set of tires, in which case that will only give us a single stop for the race and may save us a lot of time. And we'll see how the others have planned their pit stops or their strategy for the race. A quick look at the timing. We are a couple of laps faster than our previous lap, so we are doing well right now going around the track. Again, with the active suspension, it's very hard to tell exactly how the car benefits but we do activate it, so hopefully it lowers down the car on the straight, again reducing drag. And then we do bring it up on the curves, meaning we turn off the active suspension, and hopefully that will give us clearance from the ground as we are compressing the suspension. Up and over the apron again.
Yeah, to do that.
And you got to see just how bumpy it is. It can actually throw the car off. So we don't want to do that too often. But again, out of turn 11, we're going to keep our foot on the throttle. Very far off in the distance as he just comes over the crest over the start finish line. So we've made a good distance from him now, and I'm curious to see the timing to see if we are any closer to Riccardo Patrese, the car in 7th place just ahead of us. Also very curious to see if anybody else will come into the pits. Right now we don't have a lot of information on how many laps these tires will actually do. We are actually on a set of soft tires.
Just trying to put in some good consistent laps.
So if you are in the know of the tires back in the early 90s, how long they will last, feel free to comment below and let us know how long they will last, and we will use that information for future races. This generation of F1 cars here in AMS2 is actually very good to drive. A lot of realism, a lot of very good engine notes, a lot of feedback in the wheel. Very good braking, and it's predictable, and very good acceleration, which is controllable. So again, this generation of F1 cars, very good to drive here in AMS2. Across the start-finish line, once again, there is the active suspension. As far as we know, it is bringing the car down so that we can reduce our air drag. Down the straights. Still a clear track here in front of the number 14, Jordan Hart of Ruebens Barrichello. And nobody close by behind us for that matter. There we are, 2:07 to 2:11. So we are just about 5 seconds behind Riccardo Patrese. Lap 32 now of 45. markers behind. Oh, a big hit there. And I believe that is the Minardi. Into the wall. That's actually a back marker, so he shouldn't have been racing with us. I believe we were able to get around him as a result of a blue flag. Totally unnecessary, and again, if the damage was up to full or simulation settings, he would not have returned to the track. Obviously, we would not be either. But he shouldn't be racing like that as a back marker. So that Minardi is driven by Fabrizio Barbazza, also a very short career in F1. Still in 8th place here for the number 14, but now about 7 or 8 seconds behind the car up ahead. Now lap 32 of 45. There we are, Ricardo Patrese still up ahead. Just about 7 seconds. Gerhard Berger, and then Michael Andretti ahead of him. Again, earlier in the race, Michael Andretti responsible for one of our spins. And that cost us several spaces on the track, on the grid. Coming into turn 1 right now, plenty of fuel to finish the race. Tires are still doing well. Again, we just have to put in some consistent lapping here, and hopefully that will reduce our time to the car up ahead. Right now showing as 10 seconds. Nope, that is 6 seconds. We are watching Gerhard Berger coming into the pits. That is the safety car at the exit.
Course yellow.
And here we are, we can confirm full course yellow. A lot of cars coming in now. And that is the car that is on the track. That is Michele Alboreto. And he is the one that's causing the full course yellow. He does have one wheel in a very fast section of the track. Don't know if he's out of fuel or broken down. Don't see any damage or smoke. That is the number 14 coming around. Again, we are going up and down the grid, see cars that have stopped for a pit stop. It would be a perfect opportunity to put on a set of tires. Now for Mars Medina here, our tires are actually still in pretty good shape. And again, we have plenty of fuel to finish the race. And this round with the full course yellow and the pit stops for the other teams, that's going to bring us up to 5th place for right now. Still under full course yellow, we are going to try to catch up to the safety car and reform the grid. 12 course yellow is going to bring us right back behind Michael Andretti. And that is going to leave us to have to race with him once again. There he is. And again, this is turn 9 and turn 10.
We are not going to pit in. We are currently sitting at the pit. I think we can roll the dice. Racing will resume at the end of this lap, just as I thought.
There is the safety car. There's Alan Prost, Ayrton Senna, first and second. I believe they are still trying to catch up to the end of the line here. Going green at the end of this lap. We'll see the safety car pull off into the right into pit lane, and that will give us a lot of time to accelerate out. No passing until we cross the start-finish line. There he is in the pit lane. Very quickly up to Michael Andretti, and we just don't have the speed. We are able to get around. And this time we spin out. Couldn't quite tell if there was a hit. But turn 1 is very heavy braking.
And that was big.
So another hit there with the blue car.
Let me just get back to racing.
And just like that, we're back to 10th place. Gonna drive underneath the Benetton. This is a Ferrari up ahead. We're all kind of pinned in here. And we are definitely pushing our way through. Not very realistic, but those are back markers that should be out of the way. Perhaps something that could be fixed here in AMS2. That is John Alesi in the Ferrari, and we are racing with him. Gerhard Berger and the other Ferrari behind, and we do collide. And we got the worst of it. The Ferrari continues to drive on. Still a lot of elbowing there. And we do keep out of it, but again, we are back to the Ferrari, got back around. This is John Alesi on the inside. Very careful. Okay, he let us go. And you can see here the two Ferraris swarming behind the Jordan. Speed not a forte for the Hart V10. So back up to 6th place now for Mars Medina in the number 14 Jordan Hart. believe this is Martin Brundle just up ahead. Brakes a little too much. Coming into turn 12, and we do hit him from behind. Gonna try to outbrake him, but he's got more guts right now. Another look, and we're going to have to punt him.
That was a race.
No, that was Mark Blundell. Back to 5th place, that car up ahead. I believe that is Michael Andretti. And we do have a score to settle. But we have to get there first. Out of 8 into 9. Turn 10 here. On the main straight. We do have Michael in sight.
Lap 38 of 45.
That lap 1.183 seconds slower than our fastest lap. That is turn 1. Braking very hard for turn 2, a second gear right-hander. This generation of F1 cars did have traction control. However, it can still be easily beaten with the right foot. And right away we have popped up back to Michael Andretti in the McLaren, giving us a very good challenge here into turn 12. A little shaky there for the number 14 of Ruebens Barrichello. Out of 14 and down the main straight, we've got a draft on Michael Andretti.
There's Michael Andretti.
Still wheel to wheel coming into turn 1 after the long straight, and he is going to take this one. Does bounce over the curb on the inside of turn 1, so we are able to get around. Nope. A little too much and a little too wide here for the number 14. And that is facing in the wrong direction on the track. We are losing time and losing space.
Back to 11.
And just like that, back to 11th place.
Now 12.
And to understand what happened there in turn 1 and turn 2, you have to look back at the historic races where Michael Andretti was in Formula 1. back to racing for the number 14 here. So lap 41, we certainly have our work cut out for us. I don't believe we'll be able to make it back up soon. And a little chop off the nose there.
Going south here. Maybe that was a little too optimistic to get underneath.
So back to 14th place now for the number 14 of Ruebens Barrichello. This is a back marker. We got to see the blue flag, or the blue light box being indicated for him. Couldn't quite tell who that was. Here we are approaching turn 5 once again. Again, lap 42 now of 45. That was Christian Filipaldi. That's Alex Zanardi that we just passed, and he is back on charge. We are racing with him for a place here on the grid. Coming into turn 12, again a very slow right-hander. We are way over the curb and the apron. Turn 14 and down the main straight. Now I believe that is Johnny Herbert just behind us, according to the timing. And right now we got to see just how much slower the Jordan Hart is down the straight. Here he is again once in our draft. Turn 5. The long right-hander of turns 9 and 10. The right-hand kink of turn 11. Now timing indicates that we are just about 3 seconds off of Martin Brundle here. And he is in 12th place. There he is. Right now in the closing laps of the race, we are trying to rescue what we can here in the Jordan Hart. number 14 just pushing his way through the back markers. Lap 44, the car's still in very good shape, tires are in good shape. But a few incidents on the track has caused us to be this far back along the grid. And we did have a very fast car. We actually made it up to 5th place at one point. Michael Andretti taking none of it and giving us a good challenge for 5th place. Out of turn 11, challenging Martin Brundle for 12th place. Turn 12 once again, we are right under the wing. Very wide on the exit. We are wheel to wheel. Down the straight and to turn 1. Still a race between the two. And we're going to let him go this time.
Wow.
Little bump there into turn 3 as he is braking way too hard. There is the green light once again indicating the active suspension. And we're going to dive right underneath into turn 5. And that was quite easy. So Mars Medina back up to 12th place. Still quite a ways back from 5th place earlier in the race. This is the last lap. Turn 13 once again. And turn 14 perhaps for the last time. So again, a very good race here in AMS2. The AI proving to be very difficult, and still a lot of bumping and nudging. We will have to turn on full damage for the following races, and we'll see if that's going to change their aggression on the track. They are under low aggression right now, but you can see that they still do fight back quite a bit. So race is done here for the number 14, Jordan Hart, finishing off in 12th place.
Here are the marbles being picked up. Off track, or offline. That was a pretty good race, but not very good results.
So again, a very good race here in AMS2 with a lot of realism. And that is going to do it for now, as we are in our cool down lap. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, ring the notification button, and let us know what you think of the race. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.
Got a lot of extra fuel. But we did do a few laps under yellow. I think 6 altogether. Tough race.